Today I effed up by telling my kid to throat punch his bully at school. Actual F-up happened yesterday at the dinner table after school. The after effects of my F-up have me currently at the ER getting my son checked out for anaphylactic shock. Okay, that is insane. So I'm interested to see how this goes from punching someone in the throat to anaphylactic shock. So let's get into this. Yesterday, my kid came home and was obviously upset, so I asked him what was wrong. He's 8, so he still talks to me about this stuff. He proceeds to tell me that at lunch, another kid in his class is bullying him about his peanut allergy, saying that he's faking his allergy and that he's gonna wipe some peanut butter on him to prove that he's faking. Okay, someone call this kid's mom because this behavior is low-key so concerning. My kid says to him that he isn't faking and that he could die just from touching peanut butter. The other kid said that he didn't care and that he wanted him to die anyway. Oh my god. Jesus save this child. At this point, my kid said that he told the teacher and the lunchroom monitor who both know about his allergy and they were able to intervene yesterday. Okay guys, so this type of bullying already seems so dangerous because if their son has a peanut allergy and a kid is threatening to expose them to it directly, that could literally kill him. So I would immediately take this so seriously because this is essentially life and death at this point. So let's see what OP is going to say about this. I had a long talk with my kid about doing the right thing and telling the teacher and not letting this other kid make him lash out. Then we talked about the hard part. Now, I'm sure I'm gonna generate some hate with some people here with what I told him next, and that's fine. We're allowed to have differing opinions, but I'm not apologizing to anyone for teaching my kid to stand up and defend himself. After we talked about doing the right thing and doing everything you can to avoid a bad situation, I told him that sometimes you have to do the wrong thing to protect yourself, and that should always be the last resort. When he asked what I meant, I told him that as long as the bully is only taunting him with words, then he should always walk away. But if he ever did try to put peanut butter on you, then you hit him as hard as you can with the side of your hand in the throat. Kind of like a throat chop. Then you stop unless the bully keeps trying. If the faculty isn't gonna do anything to help, which, by the way, there's like so many stories of schools not intervening in bullying situations when they should, I believe he's well within the right to just trade blows, because what else is he gonna do? Just wait for the other kid to put peanut butter on him and then die? Yeah, no thanks. So if that kid wants to attempt murder at this point and no one else is helping, then boy, go karate chop his ass in the pharynx, okay? Fast forward to this very afternoon and I get a call from the principal of the school saying that my son assaulted another student and needed to be picked up. I asked what happened and of course they won't talk about it over the phone. But I smiled a little bit because I already knew. I get to the school and I see my kid is sitting at the office, tears streaming down his face. So I walk in and the principal tries talking to me, but I blow right past her and ask my kid what happened. He says the bully had peanut butter on his fingers and he was threatening to wipe it on his face. Then my kid said that he did what I told him to and hit the kid in the throat because he wiped peanut butter on his arm. I looked at his arm that was pretty swollen up and asked him if he was having trouble breathing. Kid said he was fine, just a little shaky. At this point, the principal interrupts with her, "Mr. So-and-so, we can't just have kids hitting other children just because they had a little peanut butter wiped on them. Kids do this kind of thing. We're gonna have to suspend him for a few days." This principal honestly needs a reality check and is the reason why the situation even got to this level. Not very demure and not very cutesy, Miss Principal, okay? It's obvious to me that principal is clueless about the peanut allergy. Honestly, this makes this even worse because not knowing this crucial information to me is basically gross negligence on the school's end. And didn't the son tell the faculty the first time the bully made threats? This just ain't adding up. So I cut her off and asked my kid if he told the bully to stop before he hit the other kid. He said yes. I yelled at him several times that I'm allergic to peanut butter and told him to stop, and he just kept acting like he was gonna wipe it on me. Now the principal has a shocked look on her face. I asked to see the video from the cafeteria and sure as shit, my kid can be seen and heard screaming and trying to back away from his bully. At the point where it looks like the bully grabs my kid's arm, my kid yells at the top of his little lungs, "I told you to stop." Then he grabs the bully by the arm, pulls him towards himself, and executes the best clothesline I've ever seen anyone do and floors this kid. Then my kid sits down and starts crying in the middle of the cafeteria. At this point, I tell the principal that if my kid isn't allowed back at school tomorrow, I was consulting with a lawyer about the attempted murder of my son. Period! I also said that assuming he didn't have any other ill effects from this, I would be fine not pressing charges against the school and the bully since it looks like he may have already learned his lesson. Since I didn't get a response and it's been about half an hour since the peanut butter was wiped on my kid's arm, I picked him up and left to take him to the ER to get checked out. About 10 minutes ago, I got a phone call from the school board superintendent saying that the school board has decided to let my kid come back to school tomorrow. Honestly, at this point, they better. There's just so much negligence that happened, so I feel like it's just common sense that they knew that they're in the wrong. Also, there's a couple of quick edits, so we'll go through them really quick. Edit number 1. Kid has a clean bill of health from the hospital. Swelling is starting to go down after some epinephrine. Edit 2. Kid got cookies and ice cream. Yay! Edit 3. I've been invited to a meeting with the school board Thursday afternoon. We'll update afterwards. I'm honestly loving how supportive OP is. I feel like in bullying cases like these, having a supportive parent who isn't afraid to take things into their own hands when everything else just seems to be failing and protecting their kid are the best. So good job, OP. Also, I feel like with many bullying cases, the school really needs to up their game with protecting the kids because the situation could have gone so bad, like causing a death bad. Also, they better punish the other kids severely because they need to learn their lesson from this, and it'll also help prevent him from treating other children like this and endangering other schoolmates. So get on that ASAP, okay? So here's the next update. Edit number 4. Just left the meeting, which wasn't with the school board as I was led to believe on the phone. It was with the principal and a legal representative from the school board. Had my lawyer with me, and prior to this meeting, we discussed what I wanted out of this meeting. My main concerns were 1, making sure that there was a procedure in place to keep allergens away from my child, and 2, ensuring that this child has no ability to assault my child again. I also wanted to know how it was that the principal wasn't informed or aware of my child's allergy prior to telling me that he was going to be suspended. Honestly, all this is a very reasonable ask, in my opinion. Also, yeah, it's kind of concerning that they were unaware of this allergy as a school. Lawyers talked legal stuff for a little bit while I listened and principal listened. Eventually, my turn to talk came, and I simply explained points 1 and 2 above. I also asked why principal didn't take time to assess the whole situation. The explanation I got was that she was told by the monitor that it was almond butter, not peanut butter, by the monitor, so she really didn't look further into it. Which I can understand her point, but it doesn't make things any better from my perspective. Okay, to me, this is honestly a bit sus and kind of sounds like a cover-up to me, but they should really find a better way to keep track of children's allergies and just overall health needs so that it'll prevent silly mistakes like this from even happening. Also, like I mentioned, I feel like the kid already alerted them the first time it happened, so they should be familiar with his allergies by now, but maybe something happened in the mix that we're not seeing.
Just eat peanut. Hospital very close.
So cut and dry stuff first. The bully child has been moved to a different school. Unfortunately, I don't have any legal recourse to find out which school he has been moved to and frankly don't care. Cafeteria monitor has been fired. I didn't hear this at the meeting, but my son's teacher called last night after school and told me. I asked why, and I was told that she was distracted by her phone when all the commotion started, which explains why this was allowed to progress in the first place. Okay, but for real, this lunch monitor had one job and couldn't even do it. And I feel like lunch hours aren't even that long. It's like probably an hour at most, so you can't get off of your phone for an hour? I don't get it. Based on the recommendation of a friend, thanks AX, and many of you via PM, I requested and was accommodated with an allergy-free table at our school. And I'm being told every other school in the district will be implementing one as well, where children with known allergies will eat lunch at, and anyone who eats with them will have their lunches inspected by a teacher and a monitor to ensure no allergens are present. Oh wow, I didn't know that allergy tables existed, so I'm glad people brought it to OP's attention. To any parents listening, if your kid has allergies, definitely make use of this and ask about it at their school. And if it's not there, ask that they implement it because I feel like that is so important. Now the weird stuff. The kid probably did wipe almond butter on my son. Kid's parent found out through a mutual friend where we lived and showed up at my house last night. The bully kid was very apologetic to me and asked if he could apologize to my son, which I said yes, of course. I invited the parents and son into the living room and this child started crying and said he didn't mean to hurt my son. My son started crying as well and said he didn't want to hit him and he apologized as well. Aw, I'm glad that he and his parents came over to apologize and that they mutually apologized to each other. They're young, and so I hope learning this lesson early leads them to a lot of self-growth, but it's really sweet that they both really cried and apologized to each other. Then the parents asked bully child to explain what happened. So apparently this kid likes peanut butter and almond butter, and has almond butter on a sandwich and little pack of peanut butter in his lunch for crackers. The bully child thought it would be funny to continue to torment from yesterday, and said something about putting peanut butter on my son and put a little bit on his fingers to make him think it was peanut butter. Then he wiped them off afterwards and got some of the almond butter from his sandwich, and that's what was on his hands when he grabbed my son's arm. I can only guess that there was a little peanut residue left on the bully's hands when he grabbed my son, which explains the subdued swelling reaction. I asked the kid if he knew what a peanut allergy actually does to a person, which to the other parents' credit, they had actually made him read WebMD about it, and he explained the whole inability to breathe and some other things his mind grasped onto. So I took the opportunity to show this young man the EpiPen needle. We have one that we've had to use previously just for show and tell purposes, that you have to stick a person with in an anaphylactic shock scenario. Then I gave him the trainer unit and showed him where it goes and how to press the button. Yes, I told him it was the trainer unit, but I really thought hard about not telling him. I ultimately decided against that because that wouldn't make me any better than the bully kid in front of me. When the button actuated, I think he jumped about 15 in the air and he was obviously scared. Parents apologized again, as did the bully kid. I told all of them that I was satisfied that a lesson was learned here and I wouldn't be pursuing any additional charges against the kid or his parents. Yeah, I know you can roast me for it with down votes. As the parents and bully kid are leaving, my son runs right past us all and gives the bully a hug and tells him that he hopes he isn't in too much trouble. Oh, that's so sweet. I love little kids and their innocence. I was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which I of course declined. I want my options open to me in case something like this happens again. Until then, I'm letting this die. Okay, that is so weird that they tried to make OP sign a non-disclosure agreement, but I'm glad OP declined because that is so sketchy to me. Also, honestly, in this story, I blame the parents and the school faculty more than I blame the kid at this point. It seems like he really didn't realize how seriously dangerous his actions were, but once he did learn about the severity of what could have happened and just experienced genuine consequences for his behavior, he was truly sorry. I just wished he received the consequences after the first attempt with the threat, because that could have just helped avoid things getting truly dangerous, okay? It didn't have to be this bad if they just did something early on. And honestly, this is why it's important to take threats seriously and intervene before dangerous actions are taken, instead of ignoring things and just not taking them seriously until lives are literally at risk. Overall, I'm super glad that both kids learned valuable lessons from this and that the parents took a decent amount of accountability. School is starting soon, or may have already just recently started for students out there, so stay safe and I'm wishing you all a great school year. Bye!